on the line with us tonight that's got something good to tell us.
There's a dear couple. Have you got it on record yet?
Just give me a second. We'll get it ready to start here.
Okay.
This conference is being recorded.
All right, Doc, we're ready for interview activation.
Okay, we're going to get it. Yes, there's a dear sweet couple that's in my downline. And this is unbelievable testimony we're going to hear from Mrs. Rittenauer. Lynn and Linda Rittenauer are in my downline, and she's got a testimony that I felt would really be a blessing to everybody within the sound of my voice. So, Linda, are you ready?
I sure am.
Well, Linda, God bless you, and share with the people what your story is with Protanda. It's all yours as long as you want to talk.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, I'm going to start my story with the good, and then I'm going to end up with, well, actually, I'm going to start with the bad and end up with the good. But we know that I'm on Protanda. But my story starts with the flu shot. I had a flu shot about 5 years ago, and within 3 months, I was really sick. I thought I had the flu, and I was in tremendous pain. I was in excruciating pain. And I went to the emergency room a couple of times, and they really couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and they sent me home. And at home, my husband started praying for me to try to really give me relief. And I just got worse and worse and worse. I was so much pain, I can't explain it to you. It was like, okay, I'll say, it was like my bones were on fire, and I was burning from the inside out, and especially in my legs, and it started to go up into my body. And I was, of course, in bed, just trying to be comfortable, and I got up to go to the bathroom. And when I got up to go to the bathroom, I mentioned to Lynn, I can't feel the floor with the bottom of my feet. And I thought, that's really odd. And, of course, I went back to bed, and I decided, I'm going to have to go to the hospital. I don't know what's wrong with me. And after I went to the hospital, I was there about 2.5 weeks, and I don't remember any of it because they had me heavily medicated, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So they sent me to another hospital, and at that hospital, they misdiagnosed me, and they put me in a nursing home. And I'm in a nursing home for about 2.5 to 3 months. During the time I was in the nursing home, I became paralyzed, totally paralyzed. I was extremely paralyzed from the chest down. I couldn't hold a fork or spoon, so I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't hardly move my arms, and I got to a place where I couldn't hold my head up. And I was really in a situation where I didn't know it, I didn't realize it, but I was dying. I ended up with blood clots. I had a lung collapse. I was in serious condition. And my husband said to me, I've been praying for you, and the Lord has said, I'm going to touch you. And the night that he prayed, the Lord did touch me. He came in my room, and he touched me. And I know really what the power of God can do. And from that moment on, my circumstances changed. The doctor wanted to see me. They got me right in the hospital. I had a treatment called plasmapheresis, which is basically the cells in my body are removed, and I have the dirty ones are taken out and the clean ones are put in. But I had a girlfriend who and her husband got on the internet, and they said, we know what you have. You have Guillain-Barré syndrome. Guillain-Barré syndrome is an autoimmune disease. Your body attacks itself. And what happens is the sheath on your nerve fibers begin to be eaten away. So the pain is associated with all of that. And they were right. I was put back in the hospital. until I got to walk. So I had some real positive responses in my body from the therapy I had in the hospital. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the meds I was on. I was on Dilaudid, I was on morphine, I was on a fentanyl patch, I was on Lyrica, gabapentin, Cymbalta, Oxycontin, oxycodone. And it took me 4 years to finally get off all those drugs. And there was something that Len had told me when I was in recovery. He said, you're going to be healthier than you were before you got sick. And my profession is I'm a licensed, registered dental hygienist. So I was seeing patients. I would see 10 to 12 patients a day, 5 days a week. So I felt selfish. I felt pretty good that my husband said, the Lord said you're going to be healthier than you were before you got sick. And after getting off all the drugs, I would get up, put on my clothes, sit. I really didn't have a good quality of life. I would just sit on the couch, I would watch TV, I would take naps, and I would play computer games. It was an effort to do the dishes, to do a little bit of work around the house. I just dreaded taking a bath because it was just so exhausting. So even though I had recovered and the Lord said I'm going to be better than I was before, I thought to myself, I'm eating right, I'm doing everything I know to do, but why won't I feel better than I did before? And then after I had that thought, it probably wasn't a week, and I had a friend come to the house, and he said, I want to introduce you to something. And the product is called Protandem. And Lynn and I kind of discussed it, and we thought, okay, this sounds good. But Lynn had an opportunity to go see Dr. Marvin. And when he saw him, he got excited. He come home and he said, you've got to get on the product. And I said, okay, And I was on it, I would say, approximately 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, I just realized I got up off the couch. I'm doing dishes. I'm walking around the house. I want to go to the grocery store. I want to live again. And since I've been on Protandem, that's what's happened in my life. I have a better quality of life than I had before I got sick. I feel young again. I go to the store. I walk around the store. I've been going to the gym. I lift weights. I ride a bike. I walk on the treadmill. I have such a wonderful quality of life. And the Lord said I was going to be better than I was before I got sick. And I'll say because of Protandem and what it's done for my body, I am better than I was before I got sick. I don't have the aches and pains. I'm off all the meds. I live in my dance in the living room. I walked outside when the weather's good, and I couldn't do any of this before I was introduced to this wonderful God-sent product. And I'm just so grateful. And that's my story in kind of a nutshell.
Okay, Linda, that was wonderful and beautiful. And you see, I knew this beautiful lady as she had the result. I never saw her before. When I first saw her and first was introduced by Lynn to me, I couldn't believe that she was like I knew she had been. Because I saw her after Protandem. And she is a vivacious, vibrant, energetic, sweet lady. And I want to testify to that. And everybody that meets her can sure tell when they see her and talk to her. How long were you on Protandem before you had your first evidence of something was happening, Linda?
Was in the
I think
nursing
it was
home.
about 2 weeks.
This
It was about
lady
2 weeks.
talking was in the nursing home.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, oh my goodness. And I'll tell you today, if I get up and I start going through my day and I don't take the Protandem, I can tell the difference. I said, whoops, I gotta take my Protandem because I can tell it's just, I can tell it does something in my body. And it makes up and I do the dishes, I clean the house, I go to the store. I just have a normal quality of life.
And how long total have you been on it now?
About 4 months.
4 months, okay. Well, does anybody have a question for Linda?
Let me open up the lines here, Doc, just a second.
Okay.
Unmuted. Muted.
Okay.
Okay, folks, if you have a question for Linda, if you would please just *6 your phone. Please don't use a speakerphone. We are recording this, and for call quality, that would be helpful. Just *6 to unmute.
Okay.
Hello, this is Denise from Loretta, New Mexico, and I've got a question for you. When you started your story, you said something about having a flu shot. Yes. And do you think that might have, the reason I'm asking is I've just recently found 3 cases of the Guillain-Barré syndrome. I've heard of 3 cases, and Dr. Marvin said last week something about immunizations, and then you mentioned a flu shot. Yes. Can you elaborate on that? Yes. I was 58 when I got sick, and I had never had flu shots. I had had it the year before, and this was the second time in my life I had a flu shot. And when I was in the hospital, that was the question that was asked me by many specialists. They would say, have you had a flu shot? That was the question of the hour. So I know after I had the flu shot that even though I didn't end up in the hospital right away, I knew that I started having symptoms. Water didn't taste right. I had trouble holding my body weight up with my legs. There were just all these different symptoms that came with this, and I thought I had the flu. You know how you feel, aches and pains and uncomfortable? And I really believe it was because of the flu shot. I can never have a flu shot. I can't have it.
Ma'am, this is Dr. Marvin. Every case of Guillain-Barré that I've ever seen or heard of is following some type of flu or similar immunization. For example, during President Ford's presidency, you remember there was a big push because of the scare of swine flu?
Yeah.
And so he admitted later that he pushed it through before the testing was complete. And we had thousands of patients in the United States with Guillain-Barré due to the fact that it hadn't been completely perfected when it was released to the market because everybody was scared of getting swine flu, so they got something worse. They got Guillain-Barré. One of the cases that I've been exposed to was a girl in Oklahoma City who was on the Olympic team as a gymnast. And she was going to the Olympics. She had made the team. And because she was traveling to Europe on this aircraft where there's more the danger of having a virus because the air is just recirculated and purified, but not from bacteria or viruses. So you're breathing everybody else's air before you get your destination, particularly if it's this far from the United States to Europe. So she got a flu shot. She got Guillain-Barré and was never able to compete after that because of the same symptoms Linda had. She was paralyzed.
Yeah.
So, now I'm not saying that flu shots are bad. I've had several flu shots myself and had no problem. But it's always a possibility. I can tell you that, to be honest and to be faithful to the Lord, I want to tell you it is a possibility. You'll see, if you run onto many people with Guillain-Barré, you'll see that almost 100%, not maybe 100%, but almost, is due to some type of immunizations.
You know, Doc, if you do a search on PubMed with Guillain-Barré and flu, you get 152 hits.
Yeah. 152 articles connecting it with Guillain-Barré. That'll give you some idea, man.
Okay. Yeah, last week when we talked, there was only 7 studies, I believe, Steve, that we were able to pull up.
Well, that was on oxidative stress and Guillain-Barré, but I did a simple search with Guillain-Barré and influenza or flu. You come up with a relationship there of 152.
Okay. top of my feet. This kind of sounds kind of strange, but I can feel my socks again. You know, you just don't, your ability to feel it changes. And I can feel my socks again, and I'm beginning to feel the floor again. And I know it's because of the Protandim. I know it is, because there was no change until I started taking it.
See, Linda, one of the things, Guillain-Barré is a immediate autoimmune reaction that takes the sheet off of the nerves.
Yes.
Well, MS also does that, so it's very similar symptoms. The fact is that MS comes on very slow and insidious, whereas Guillain-Barré is more rapid, like you experienced, and almost always you can tie it to some type of immunization. But the effects on the body is very, very similar to MS.
I begin to see that. And it's, what we don't talk about is the pain level. It's extremely painful.
Yes, tell them.
Pain, yes ma'am.
My name is Marie Giraldi. I'm in Florida, and I don't have a question for you. I just want to say, God bless you.
Oh,
And I'm so happy and thrilled that you are feeling better.
Oh,
And
yeah.
every day is going to get better. Because
Yeah.
I know I'm on Protandim, and I, thank God, I found it also. So,
Yeah.
just keep taking it.
Oh, you betcha. I don't want to be without it.
Me neither. Okay?
You know-
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
We have the facts, folks. We have more medical validation in Protandim than any drug in your drugstore or your hospital. I can say that freely, and I can prove that. We have more medical validation scientifically on Protandim than we do anything else you take. All the supplements, all the drugs, all the injections, all the IVs. We have more medical validation. The only thing that's got equivalent medical validation to Protandim, in my opinion, is water. And we know we have to have water. So, anyhow, and what happens, folks, when you see something like happened to Linda right now, you wonder what's wrong with people that can't see this. And they'll say, well, you know, we got 29 medical schools doing research on this with their own money. That's never happened. But one medical school before, maybe I ought to get on this. Maybe this says something. Rather than say, like I had today, loretta.dilworth, and found all kinds of negative stuff. And she's going to do further research. Well, I asked the lady that invited her, I said, do you think that she feels she can do more research on her computer than 29 medical school faculty that have signed off on this? That can take probably 70 to 75 biochemists, 70 to 75 pharmacologists, and a layman is going to go around them in knowledge. Give me a break. Well, so it's impossible. Yes. Yes.
Now, I wanted to ask you if you have any idea how many autoimmune diseases there are currently.
87.
87. Do you think that the Protandim activating the liver enzymes as it does could possibly have effect on all 87 of those? Do they have something in common? That's
It isn't just the liver enzyme, ma'am. It's not just the liver enzyme. It's the enzymes in every cell of your body. I'm not worried about the liver enzymes. There's no harm or no change in those. But the changes in the enzymes inside every cell in your body, and that's 100 trillion cells, and they turn all of them into a manufacturing plant for superoxide dismutase and catalase.
right. And what does the autoimmune response do to hurt the cells, and does the Protandim have a good effect on all of the 87? Do they have something in common that
Well, some of them are so rare that we haven't given them. Some of them are so rare that there's maybe 1 or 2 cases every 10 years. I'm telling you, every one that is. See, when I graduated from medical school, there were 7
right now since we're finishing up after her story.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions about the autoimmune effect in Guillain-Barré or anything else? Yes. 4 months ago.
I got my flu shot. When did I get my flu shot? Is that the question?
Yes.
I actually came down with Guillain-Barré syndrome in March of 2008. And I got my flu shot sometime around November of the previous year in '07. So, even though I was not hospitalized until March, I knew something was happening in January. In January, I started feeling odd, and then by February, things, I couldn't hold my body weight. I was at work, I'll be honest with you. I was at work seeing a patient, and I had to lean against the wall to be able to walk to my patient and get my patient and bring that patient back to my room where I did the therapy on that person. And I had trouble walking when I was in the hospital. It was just, I just knew something was wrong before I ended up actually seriously ill. And I didn't mention it, but I also was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is another, I believe, autoimmune disease. Is that correct, doctor?
Yes.
And I was diagnosed with that, and I don't have any symptoms from that. I mean, it's gone. I don't even think about it. You know, I'm not in pain at all. There's no elbow pain, no joint pain, no knee pain, no pain, period. I'm not in pain.
Okay, I'm going to open up the lines again. We were picking up a lot of background noise, Doc. I'll get back open for questions again. For anyone who'd like to ask questions for Linda Rittenauer, please identify yourself, and I'm going to unmute the line.
Unmuted.
Correct.
Muted.
Okay.
Simply *6 your telephone if you have a question for Linda Rittenauer.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
This is Diane in New Hampshire. I'm also a dental hygienist.
Okay.
And I was wondering if you had gotten your hepatitis B vaccination.
Yes, I did.
You know?
I got it. I honestly, before I was a hygienist, I managed a research center at the School of Dentistry here in Kansas City. We're in Kansas City, Missouri, and that was part of my, conditions of working there. I had to have hepatitis B shot, so I've been through that whole series.
Well, I was reading an article a while back when you told your story. It reminded me of it, that they're saying the autoimmune diseases are rampant. They're epidemic in healthcare workers, and they were linking them to immunizations such as the Hep B. And one of the gals I worked with at an office, she started in with her MS symptoms shortly after her third hepatitis B shot. Now she's a gentleman. She's had MS for almost 20 years now. She's been on Protandim for almost a year, and her symptoms are much better. She has less low back, less joint pain, and more energy. But it's pretty amazing that these very things that are supposed to protect us and help us are ravaging our bodies in so many other ways.
You know, since you said that, how do you know if something's not a precursor to bring on the actual disease? Because I had hepatitis shot, and then I had those 2 flu shots, but they were years apart. It was 2000 probably when, it was before that. I started working there somewhere in the 90s, and I had that right away, and it wasn't until 2008 that I got really ill.
Okay, Linda, this is Dr. Wanda. I believe that what happens is you start the immunization matter, you build up your immunity with time. That's proven. It gets up to a level where it starts beginning on the sheet around your nerves, and that's Guillain-Barré in some people, and the thing that's in other people. And it's a process. You know, it's not one shot that does it. However, you do see it as one shot, but many times you can trace the process. And they've tried to research that. I've read all kinds of articles medically about them doing research on it. It still boils down to it's a
also crosses the blood-brain barrier, if I'm correct, Dr. Marvin. And I think it has an effect on your brain. And I've had some problems with my short-term memory. But I'm also seeing slowly a progression in being able to remember and think clearly again since I've been on the Protandim.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm telling you. And I want everybody to know it. And I just almost lose my grip when I get on the counter like I have this morning. When some individual Googled Protandim and said she had outsmarted 29 medical schools. I mean, you know, I almost lost control. I almost bit a hole in the speaker on my telephone.
Oh, dear.
I mean, you know, my red hair turns real red when that happens. It's white, and it's gray and white, but whenever anybody says something idiotic like, I Googled Protandim, and here's what I found. Well, my hair stands on end. I have a blowtorch coming out of my mouth, and woe be to anybody that didn't reach my telephone.
Well, the good thing about it is people are believing the positive. You know, people tend to lean towards the negative, but people are believing the positive because of the testimonies of people that are sharing about how Protandim actually given them life again. I believe that movie, that's Wonderful Life, he said, I got to live again. Well, that's how I feel. I've got to live again. I've gotten a quality of life I never expected. I feel 20, and I feel, I might not look 20 on the outside, but I sure feel it on the inside.
Well, you sure look good. Whether it's 20 or 30, whatever it is. I mean, I would never have believed you had anything wrong in your body when I met you. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well, that's what the Lord can do. He's a miracle worker, and he can take something like a product and just expedite how healthy you are.
Right. Well, does anybody else have any questions for Linda?
I have a question, Marvin.
Yes, just for people.
Shall I speak?
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, I'm from Indiana. A very short story. Back about 1990, I started having problems walking, and I couldn't walk for only a short distance. Over a period of about 10 years, that kept getting worse. And in 2010, I was diagnosed with polymyalgia in July, and I was treated until December, and it disappeared. Then the following year, I had problems again while I was in Florida visiting, and a neurologist diagnosed me as having peripheral neuropathy.
Yes.
And saying that it was attacking the nervous system, and the myelin covered on the nerves was exposed, and this is what's causing the problem. So I've been trying to treat that since then. I'm able to walk around, but my feet and my legs still feel strange.
Yeah, we don't know the diagnosis. You see, polyneuropathy is a symptomatic designation, not a diagnosis. There's about 6 or 7 diseases that give you polyneuropathy. I didn't tell you what you got. Polyneuropathy is seen in Guillain-Barré. Polyneuropathy is seen in diabetic peripheral neuropathy. Polyneuropathy is also seen in MS. So we don't know what you have with those designations. And, you know, I do believe that you will see progressive health with Protandim, but we still don't know what it is. It's just like real estate. Medicine thrives on diagnosis, diagnosis, diagnosis. Not location, 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 but diagnosis, diagnosis, diagnosis. And I wouldn't go to a doctor that couldn't diagnose me.
Well, this neurologist diagnosed it, but he said, I can't help you at that point. That was the last contact.
But he didn't tell you what it was due to.
Only the
Marvin said, that our soul is depleted, so our food really isn't all that nutritious. So you need to really make yourself knowledgeable of what you should eat as opposed to what you want to eat, and take it with the protandem, and that will help you. And of course, drink plenty of water. I'm not saying coffee and tea, I'm saying water. Drink fluids. That will help nourish your body, and you just got to make yourself as healthy as possible. And I know the protandem will make a difference, because I could say that I have peripheral neuropathy, but I don't really have it like I had it before I started the protandem. Yes, sir, I sure did.
And another person has peripheral neuropathy who didn't have that. Peripheral neuropathy by itself is a symptom
Yes.
of some disease of which this gentleman doesn't know what it is.
Yes, that's true. I agree.
Okay, is there any other questions for Linda? There are two men talking. Is the second one still on?
Yeah, Richard here at Thurston. I was a pharmacist a long time, Linda, and I just want to congratulate you for your endurance and God blessing you and continue to encourage you to stay blessed and doing what you're doing with your eating and your family. And I know you're going to get it. But now I experienced a similar situation here because I was listening to you talk, and it almost felt like I encountered in the operated over 14 hours and died, and they bringing me back from a blood clot, and then I was put in the nursing home, and all this, some of those symptoms and those drugs I was taking also, and it sounded like me in a way. And the Lord bless me because I found out about protandem. I've only known about protandem since June, and I've been taking tablets. I feel like it's a God sent too. I know it because I still have synaptic problems in my body, and my neck is completely fused, so I don't have the range of motion that I used to have. My hands were still very stiff, but at one time I was paralyzed like you. And the Lord, I know how the prayers work, and I know exactly what you. I feel like I know what you're doing. I just want to continue to bless you and thank you, and keep on, keep on.
Yes, sir. Well, you too. You too.
Oh yes, yes,
Thank you, Richard. Thank you.
Somebody on the speakerphone picked up a real bad echo, Doc, so we'll try to bring it back up.
If somebody's on the speakerphone, please get off the speakerphone, because it causes an echo that disturbs the recording.
We'll bring it back up and open it up again for questions, or anyone that any more questions for Linda first. If there are no more, then we'll open it up for general conversation, questions, and stories.
Unmuted.
Well, you can speak well.
Muted.
I couldn't understand anything that people were talking.
Now we've got anyone else who would like to star 6 your telephone, please announce who you are and where you're from.
Yes. Hi, my name is Gary, and I
daughter that's on dialysis, that's a brother diabetic, and how can Japan can help her? That's my first question.
The first question answer is it can reestablish your kidney function.
Say that again, sir.
It can reestablish your daughter's kidney function.
Even if she's on dialysis?
Even if she's on dialysis.
Okay, and my second question, how is it with arthritis?
Which kind?
Osteo, I believe.
What?
Osteo.
I can't understand you, Steve.
Osteoarthritis.
Yes.
Osteo or rheumatoid?
Osteoarthritis.
Okay, well I got rid of mine in 3 days.
Oh, really? I had 2 knee replacements and they're still giving me a lot of problems. And
Sorry about that.
Yes. But how long do you treat before I see any signs of potential taking place?
Everybody reacts to the different speeds in a different way because their bodies are all different. My advice to you is get on it, get your daughter on it, ASAP.
Okay.
Continue to take it like Dr. Marvin says until you see the results that you're looking for.
That's right.
All right, thank you. Very good.
You bet. Now there's a lady who was trying to ask a question.
Yes, actually, Grace from Connecticut, I have 2 questions. Is the Epstein-Barr virus an autoimmune disease?
Access code accepted.
It can produce autoimmune disease.
Okay.
That man's still on, Steve. Go ahead, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So the protein could help the Epstein-Barr virus then.
Yes, ma'am. It will help.
And then, Linda, I wanted to ask her how long she was on Protandim before she got better.
2 weeks, she said.
2 weeks.
Oh,
2
okay.
weeks, I had a noticeable difference where I wanted to get up and just do everything.
Thank you. We're happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
There's 47 studies on PubMed if you do oxidative stress and Epstein-Barr, so you can connect the dots on those if you like.
Thank you.
47 studies is a lot. Okay. Anybody else have a question? I want to thank Linda so much for making it possible that she could share her story. And I recommend, Steve, we send this one to Ward, too.
Okay.
I want to do anything for you. I want to ask Linda in a speech swell,
Did Linda's feet swell?
yes, was a sweet swelling during the time she was attacked by
Oh,
Linda, were your feet swelling?
they had me on, Loretta. Yeah, I was pretty much swollen all over. I'm not on Loretta anymore. I don't even think about it. That was another one of the things I was on. I forgot I was on that. I was at the doctor. I was on the doctor at the doctor, and I said, why, I call it a water bill. Why am I on this water bill? And she said, oh, they put you on that when you had, Guillain-Barré. And I said, well, why am I on it now? She said, I don't really know. And I'm not on it, and I don't need to be on it, and my blood pressure is fine. I don't take blood pressure medicine, and there's just no need for it.
Linda, you point out a problem by having people there at your first meeting, because they'll ask you questions and you'll know next time how to conduct yourself. Don't be scared, but you perfect your presentation by giving it.
Right. Well, my upline is going to give the presentation. I'll be listening, but I would love to have more people because right now.
Why wouldn't she want it on the big balloon?
I don't know. I will ask her. I'm on Facebook with her right now, so I will pass this info to her and we'll put it on.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Great, thank you.
if for some reason it does not get on, please contact me, Laura Alley in Colorado. I'm on Facebook as well. Thank you. How do you spell your last name? A-L-I-E. All right, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions from either Linda or myself?
Yeah, this is Patrick Wilson in Wine Country. I want to know how upper town would help high blood pressure.
Well, let me tell you how it helped mine. I had a blood pressure between 145 and 155 regularly. Persistent.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, after I've taken this a year and a month or two, I had my blood pressure checked regularly. My blood pressure now runs consistent. Get your pencil ready. 93 over 46. You think that's pretty good control? It's better than any medication available could produce.
Okay. And you're not
because it's healthy.
Yeah.
Because it's healthy, I don't have any side effects from that lower blood pressure. It's wonderful, and I feel better than I have in years.
Yeah, well, hydroponic iodine makes you feel real bad. Yes.
Well, I don't take that.
Yeah, neither do I now. Yeah. I definitely want to bring it down, though.
Doc,
No, thank you for the encouragement.
Yes, go ahead, Steve.
Doc, on previous calls, if you look at on Doc Marvin's website, if you go to this medical issue chart on the recorded call information, we've spoken about high blood pressure on 13 of the previous calls.
13 previous calls, we discussed high blood pressure.
So it's been a topic that's we've addressed quite a bit, and certainly the results have been quite positive.
Okay, Sam, thank you. Yes,
Thank you very much. South Carolina.
South Carolina, go ahead.
I know enough, not politically dangerous, but I've got very good friends that are doing surgery who, 10 years ago, was on kidney dialysis.
We got somebody talking.
Yeah, we've got some other callers that have unmuted their phones. Would you please star 6 your telephone unless you are the speaker asking the questions?
Good. Now, speaker, go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, a friend of mine received a kidney transplant about 9 years ago. That kidney had failed. He's back on the list to get a new kidney. He's back on dialysis 3 times a week. What I could understand, he speaks very broken English. He is going in 3 times a week, and basically what it sounded like he was telling me was he's not able to urinate now, that he does not have a kidney. Is Protandim in any way going to affect or help him?
Okay, let me get this straight. If his doctor is certified that his kidney is non-functioning, what about the other kidney?
What I understood was he told me that he has no kidney now, that he's having to go through dialysis.
Well, he was born with 2 of them.
Right. And
You need to find out what happened to the other one.
okay. All right.
And you can call me. You can get my phone number off of my website, docmarvin.com.
I'm on it now.
Okay. Right off the phone number, that's my cell phone. And the 816 number, and call me tomorrow sometime.
Thank you.
Okay. have a question.
Yes, sir. Dr. Marvin, do you have any experience with Divix disease or Divix disease? I believe it's an autoimmune disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about it and how present
This works in all ALL autoimmune diseases. It's effective. It impacts.
Okay. All right, that's what I was wanting to know. I have a potential preferred customer, probably a distributor, that wanted to know if it would be effective. That particular.
Any autoimmune.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Dr. Marston.
Yes.
This is Linda.
Go ahead.
Which one? Okay. You have me.
We got two people talking now. There's a lady on first. Lady on first. And then Linda's on second. Okay.
This is Shelley Avery from Indiana, and I sent you Shelley Avery from Indiana, and I had sent you an email a couple weeks ago. You were going to call me, and I know you've been really busy, but my
You call me.
I'll call you. Okay. My brother's a family physician, and he was adamant that my father be taken off of Protandim. He has chronic kidney disease, and they're trying to he's losing blood somewhere. They're trying to get to the root of his problems. And we've had a colonoscopy and an endoscopy done, and we went and saw a hematologist today. And I tried to tell the hematologist about Protandim, and he's like, why don't you just eat the foods that he's like, I love turmeric. Why don't you just eat the foods rather than
Lynn, here's the thing you need to know. Both doctors, your relative and your own doctor, know the same equivalent of nutrition as they do the soil characteristics on Pluto. Meaning they don't have a clue of what it is. And the reason why they don't teach it in medical schools, and the reason they don't teach it in medical schools, big government controls the curriculum. Okay? That's the down-to-earth thing. My education in nutrition, I received my senior year, which was a 15-minute talk making fun of vitamins, minerals, and supplements. Now, that isn't in agreement with the AMA. In 2002, the AMA said if you're to be healthy in the United States, you have to supplement your diet because the nutrition in our diet is very low. Harvard, where I used to go every year for the medical update, one year took a fast food that's very popular and analyzed the entire food. They come up and said in a report, a group of doctors, I was there in the room, they said our discovery was there's absolutely no nutrition in the food that we purchase. However, there is some nutrition in the box. So our recommendation is throw the food away and eat the box. Now, you don't just get it by that doctor saying go eat the food you're supposed to, because that's probably what got him sick. Lack of nutrition. Have you tasted tomatoes lately? Did you get in the grocery store?
No.
You know, you can tell they're tomatoes because they're green and artificially turned red by ethylene gas. They do that in the San Joaquin Valley. I had a executive of a produce company call me and talk to me about nutrition, and I said, first, before I tell you anything, tell me how you harvest the tomatoes. And then she went ahead and eventually told me. They completed those in a favorite tin color. They put them in big plastic bags that fill it with ethylene gas, and within 4 hours they're bright red. They're still green, but the color's red. Here's the take-home factor. When you go buy tomatoes and you see them all identical, ripe tomatoes are never identical. They're ovulated. When they're on the vine, much?
in
What?
any other. A
You
flu
have to take
shot.
what?
A flu
Oh, a
shot.
flu shot. Okay.
Yes, because I have a compromised immune system. And I've done that so far with no problem. Would you recommend continuing after what we heard tonight?
If you haven't had any trouble, I don't have any reason to think you will. I'm worried about your autoimmune disease. What happened to it?
You know what? I've been on Protandim almost 2 years, and my life couldn't be better. I mean, I'm like your other lady, Linda. I'm living, and it's
Good.
wonderful.
And you don't know whether you may have had Guillain-Barré or you may have MS.
I don't know. All I can tell you is that my life is better. I have no symptoms, and I'll be on Protandim the rest of my life.
Hallelujah.
And now, yeah, well, thank you. I just worried about after I heard about the flu shot. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Did they say that it was demyelinating polyneuropathy?
Demyelinating neuropathy.
Demyelinating polyneuropathy, which would have an inflammation component, and there's only 3 studies out there that would tie the dots together.
I do know that I had positive, I don't know exactly what this is, positive mitochondria. Does that mean anything?
No, because we're all born with a positive mitochondria when we die.
Okay.
So, I don't know what you had. See, about 25 years ago, we stopped diagnosing a lot of things we couldn't treat. So we give it a symptomatic name, which is polyneuropathy. It doesn't mean anything. It means you have many poly, nerves involved in some type of pathological condition. That's polyneuropathy. It doesn't tell you why, or how it started, or anything else. It doesn't tell you whether it's focus of the bulbous or focus of other body parts.
When my diagnosis, when I was told that I had muscle biopsies, nerve biopsies, I have a whole different life now. I fell on a daily basis, broke my wrist, cracked my ankle, just many different, just weird things going on in my life. But I can tell you that I was living some better through the years, but nothing changed me like Protandim has. Nothing.
That's why
Emotionally and physically.
passionate about it.
I'm very passionate about it. I'm well. Well, thank
Well,
you.
that's great. That's wonderful.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Carmen? Hello?
Yes.
Hello, Carolyn from Sarasota. I had fallen on my side on a concrete floor, and I have got really bad back pain that radiates around the hip, probably all inflammation. Then maybe a year's happens now over Protandim. Take effect after I've been taking it for a while on inflammation.
Yeah, how long have you been on it?
Only 3 months.
Okay, we'll keep taking it. As Google says, maybe you get the results you're looking for.
So there's no time limit, just gotta wait.
No. Surgery labs have proved it works 100% of the time and 100% of the people.
All right, well, we'll just keep taking it. Sounds good to me.
Drink plenty of water. Drink in the morning, drink in the afternoon, with a little fat in it.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
You know, one
Very good.
of the important things I think for people to recognize, Doc, is we may want Protandim to work a certain way, and our body, unbeknownst to us, wants to use it in other ways, and we may not see the results we're looking for. That's why it's not a good thing for us to become time dependent, and when we decide it should be doing such and such, or yes or no.
Yeah. Understand.
Yeah. I'm also waiting for cholesterol to go down. The last destroyed,
Linda was waiting.
Okay, I'm next. All right. Thank you. Dr. Franklin from Connecticut. I got just a quick question to run by you. I've been diagnosed with severe dry eye problem, and I have had to take. I use Tears Natural quite frequently throughout the day. Plus, I use Lactolube at night, and I've been doing so for about 30 years. I've been on Protandim now, thanks to my friend Grace, and it seems to be helping.
How long have you taken it?
For about two and a half weeks now.
Okay, yeah, you got.
And honestly, seems to be helping, and I don't know whether it's my imagination or whether.
Well, what you heard tonight wasn't imagination.
I know. So I really believe it's helping. Do you think it will help over a period of time and make it much better? Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. I don't have any doubt.
Good. I'll be so happy for you. That stuff. The other thing is on heavy metals. I love eating fish, and I watch the fish that I eat: codfish, salmon, good types of fish. I stay away from the large fish, the tuna and swordfish, things like that. Any heavy metals that are in the body that have accumulated over the years, will Protandim help remove those different types of metals, Doctor?
Yes.
They will, huh?
Yes.
Okay, that's great to know. Good.
You might want to explain about the increase in glutathione in the liver, Doc. Just give a little general explanation.
Yeah, I don't know how much you've studied this, sir. You need to study the product. There's all kinds of availability. Go to my website, it's a good place to start, drmarlin.com. And this is a detoxer. It's a intracellular shampoo every cell in your body. It's excreted through the bile, and that's an excellent way to have it excluded. It stays in your body 14 days. Excreted in the bile, and it will detox heavy metals. Okay, thank you. You bet. One of the ladies, I don't know which one's first.
Dr. Marvin, this is Mel from Las Vegas. To the guy that was talking about the dry eyes, I have that too, had it ever since I was a kid. I'm 60 years old now, and I've been on Protandim, and February next year will be a year. And it does help. I don't cry no more. I used to cry every day. My eyes just run. And it will help. And I went to the doctor on Friday to get my results. Every year I take ultrasound, and they send me to endocrinologist for my nodules on my thyroid. And I was praising God in church Sunday. The endocrinologist said, I don't know the size of your thyroid when you first started out, but you said you had a biopsy, it was normal. This thyroid, this nodule here is so small, I can't even put a needle in it. So it has shrunk, and I was just so thankful. And my voice is even better, because it was really, really gross and hard. But right now, it's much, much better. So to the lady that was talking about the nodule, just keep taking the Protandim, and every year to take this exam, and it will shrink. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, ma'am. We're getting a lot of goodies tonight. Now, there's another lady. Was there another lady who wanted to talk?
Yes, this is Peggy from NC. Dr. Marvin, I know of a man that was told to me almost 2 weeks ago, that he's in his 30s, and he's had problems down through the years with skin cancers, and now he has one on his nose and his cheek and another couple of places, and said the doctor said that he couldn't do anything else for him.
Okay. Have you got him on through science?
I told his cousins, it was my preacher's cousin, and the preacher told us about it, and I told him, I gave him the website to look at, and the preacher mentioned it in church Sunday. He said that he gave his cousin the website, and I wasn't sure that it would help or not, but anyway, I gave it to him, and I don't know, and
LSU proved, I believe in the 7th study, that it removes skin cancer?
Well, now let me give you a testimony. That you said that especially. I've had trouble too with skin cancers, and I've had several taken off my face and eyes, etc. And the last two that came on, my vision is kind of bad now, but anyway, I couldn't even see one, but I could feel it, you know. And with me having them before, I knew what it was. And my daughter, and I showed it to her, she said, "Mom, you better ask the doctor about it." So I waited till I went for my next checkup. And when I went, both of them, felt like they were almost gone. And so the nurse told me, she said, "Well, let the doctor look at it." He came in, he told him to make an appointment. He wanted to scrape them and take them off and this and that. And I said, "Well, they're half gone, though." And so anyway, when my appointment time came around, they are gone, both of them. And it's the first time that it disappeared. And I used the tablets and the cream.
Yeah. If the LSC study on skin cancer, you want to improve your picture, it's on my website.
So that again, please. So,
it's the LSU.
LSU, okay.
Louisiana State University. It's on my website, and they did a peer-reviewed study and published effects of removing skin cancer.
Sure tell. Because he said the doctor had to give it that moment and not that.
Well, no one needs to give up.
Okay, I'm sure tell him, and I thank you.
You betcha. Anybody else?
Yes, Don.
Yes.
Is it better to take the Protandim in the morning or night, or does it really matter?
In the morning.
Morning? Okay, thank you.
Take it with food with a little fat.
Good deal, thank you.
Go.
Well, Doc, we're kind of getting towards the end of the call tonight.
I think so. My, it is. It's wonderful how time flies when we're having fun. That's the people.
Well, we certainly have heard some good testimony and good stories from folks that are telling us of their own personal histories, and I think there's an awful lot of good food for thought for people. I'm glad that we've had a lot of new people on tonight, even though we've had some of these questions we've answered a lot of times with the new folks coming on. It's nice to see their excitement and their curiosity. So, Doctor, I think we're about ready to call it a wrap. Anything else you want to say tonight?
No. It's, we're not going to have it on Christmas night, but we will have it on New Year's night. So, Christmas night, we won't be on the call. And so, I just want to wish everyone a Merry, Merry Christmas. Jesus is the reason for the season. One other thing I want to say, Steve. My pastor, I have a lovely pastor. I can't wait to get to church. I love that church. And here's what he said yesterday. He was talking about Isaiah 9:6. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. Of course, the son couldn't be born, he was given. Why? Because he's the only babe. He was the same age as his father, and he was older than his mother. That's true. Everybody, that's true. Because John 1:1 says, "In the beginning was the Word, the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And the Son was from the beginning with God. So the Lord was his Father, and of course older than his mother. I said it a minute ago. So I just want to end on that little point. We can meditate on it. It is factual. I just want to share. When I get out of that church, I have two children. I'm starving for the word, even though I read it. I want a little more. And then I want to tell everybody. Even the Coast Coast, I want to tell them about Jesus Christ more on Christmas. That's why we celebrate it. And it's really good to give it just for all time. And that's why we want to get rid of it just now. Our gifts are very small, but they have love with them. The gift of God is the most love of any gift that you give it. And that love is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So I want to sign off with that. And God bless you all, and love you all, and tune in again next week. Thank you.
I just want to thank everyone for being with us tonight. Remind you that in the United States, States of America, only a pharmaceutical drug can heal, cure, or mitigate any disease, and we do not make claims that Protandim does that. But we do know that Protandim reduces oxidative stress an average of 40% in 30 days in older people. So I want to wish everyone also a Merry Christmas. We will be here next Tuesday night on the 18th. Again, we will not have the call on Christmas night, the 25th, but we will start the new year with the January 1, the night of January 1, not New Year's Eve. We will be hosting a call that night. So good night, everyone. It's been a pleasure being with you. This call tonight is call number 45. Thank you. And it'll be okay. God bless. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Good night.
Okay.
Bye. Your conference recording has stopped.